Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Wiedeking gets axed by Porsche, Ford and Hyundai post profits, and GM names a designer to run Cadillac. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, July 23, 2009, and now the news. The automotive soap opera that's been playing out between Volkswagen and Porsche is finally over. The Detroit News reports that Porsche's CEO, Wendelin Wiedeking, is out. The company's chief financial officer, Holger Harter, is also departing. Wiedeking leaves Porsche at 9 billion euros in debt after his failed attempt to take over Volkswagen. He'll be replaced by Michael Macht, the company's director of production and logistics. Ford stunned the industry by reporting a net income of $2.2 billion in the second quarter, but that includes a one-time gain of $3.4 billion in debt reduction. Ford posted a pre-tax operating loss of $424 million, even though revenue was down $11 billion. The company ended the quarter with $21 billion in cash, almost the same as the prior quarter. Even though it's still in a negative cash flow condition, that cash burn is down to about $1 billion for the quarter, and Ford says it's still on plan. In just as stunning an announcement, Hyundai posted its highest ever quarterly net profit. According to the AFP, the company's net profit was just over 810 billion won, about $650 million for the second quarter. The record net profit was due in part to tax breaks in Korea that boosted sales and gains that came from affiliates in China and India. More developments in the Opel sale. Bloomberg reports that Chinese automaker BAIC's offer of almost $1 billion for a 51% stake has been rejected. GM and the German government narrowed their suitors to Opel down to supplier company Magna and investment firm RHJ International. But GM favors RHJ in the deal, while the German government prefers Magna. We'll have to see how this standoff shapes up. The U.S. government's Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, the PBGC, will now pay for Delphi's pensions. According to the Detroit News, the agency will assume responsibility for 70,000 workers and retirees' plans, which will cost $6.25 billion. Current estimates believe workers and retirees stand to lose $800 million from what they were owed, and that figure is likely to go up. And you gotta wonder how many other bankrupt companies are going to dump their pensions on the PBGC. Bryan Nesbitt first made his mark on the auto industry as the designer of the Chrysler PT Cruiser. He then moved on to the GM design staff, where he designed the Chevy HHR, then ran the Chevrolet studio, then went on to run GM Europe design, and recently has been running North American design. Apparently, GM believes Nesbitt can do more than just run a design staff. He's just been named to run Cadillac, all of Cadillac. Maybe GM's going to run its brands as true business units instead of being just sales and marketing arms. Coming up next, we get behind the wheel of the 2010 Ford Taurus.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
We've already previewed the upcoming 2010 Ford Taurus and SHO, but we finally had some time behind the wheel of both cars, and here's what we think about how they drive. But before we get into that, a little background information. The Taurus is offered in 4 trim levels: SE, SEL, Limited, and SHO. Starting price for the base car is about $26,000. The mid-level SEL starts at $28,000, while the SHO opens up at $38,000. We started our test in a front-wheel drive SEL that was just about loaded, and while it's no Corvette, acceleration is pretty good for a 2-ton sedan. It's also surprisingly agile. The steering has good weight to it, and the body stays unexpectedly flat. Fuel economy isn't that bad either. On the highway, Front-wheel drive models should get about 28 miles per gallon. That's about 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers. But as with many new vehicles, not everything was perfect. Our test car's 3.5-liter V6 vibrated noticeably at certain RPMs. We asked one of the engineers about this issue, and he reminded us that all the vehicles we were driving were pre-production units. It must have been just an irregularity because NVH was not a problem on the SHO that we drove a little later. Moving inside, there's more to the Taurus's interior than just good looks. Ford turned it into a technological tour de force. It offers a swarm of gadgets like adaptive cruise control and automatic high beams, but most surprising are the multi-contour seats. They sound like a gimmick at first, but they're amazingly effective at preventing fatigue by gently massaging your butt. As you already know, the pièce de résistance of the lineup is the SHO. Taurus Vehicle Dynamics engineer Chrissy Rodriguez talks about this high-performance car's driving characteristics.
I think I love the balance between the three attributes, between the steering, the ride, and the handling. The whole car as a whole, it's a very harmonious and intuitive. Like once you put an input into the steering wheel, you feel the car move as a whole. There's some vehicles out there that, you kind of draw a line through the middle and the front end's doing one thing and the rear end's doing another. I think this one is very balanced and very harmonious. And it just, once you get behind the wheel and the control of the car, it just energizes your senses and makes you want to go out and drive some more.
It's true, the SHO's handling is very balanced, and just like the regular Taurus, it's comfortable, feature-rich, and stylish. But unlike the standard car, this one moves thanks to a 365 horsepower EcoBoost V6. Managing the engine's output, SHOs come with standard all-wheel drive and a tighter suspension. Another interesting point about the car is that thanks to computer modeling and eliminating corporate bureaucracy, engineers were able to deliver it a year ahead of schedule. Look for the redesigned Taurus to start showing up on dealer lots shortly. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry, but join us tonight for Autoline After Hours at 7 p.m. Eastern, when our guest will be Art Spinella from C&W Marketing. You will learn some interesting things from him. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tonight.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.